You guys, let's just start breaking shit. Like, let's dispense with the pleasantries and just start, I don't know. No, let's not break things. This isn't my house. Hi. Actually, I would prefer that you sit there, Jason. I want you as close to me as possible.
What is the... Hello, by the way. Hi. What is the red...
Oh, that's where we're supposed to sort of hold the mic so that we don't fiddle with the connection.
Oh, I thought it was in memory of
Raphael
the Ninja Turtle or something. I don't know what this is.
No, it's not breast cancer month or anything.
Right.
Maybe it is.
Oh,
Did I miss breast cancer month again?
I miss it every time.
I know. It's like Lent. Every time I say I'm going to do something for breast cancer month, and I never, ever do. My kid burned my husband pretty good on the whole Lent thing.
Really?
Recently. Yeah, she was like, Daddy, what are you giving up for Lent? And he's like, I'm not giving anything up. And she's like, well, you have to give up something. And he goes, just as a joke, he's like, I'm giving up being a good father. And she looks at him and she goes, you were never a good father.
Oh. It's genetic.
Yeah.
She's got it. She's got whatever that is. She's got it. That's great.
Brutal honesty. She has brutal honesty. A terrible, terrible case of brutal honesty.
That's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
In New York, it's a good thing to have.
It's true. Yeah. You know, I mean, she looks like a sweet little milkmaid, but she'll cut you with her pithy takes.
A milkmaid's still mating milk. What is...
The milk has to come from somewhere.
Is that a job that exists still?
I think artisanally, yes. I think mostly milkmaids are robots.
Okay.
Yeah, that sort of like they suspend the cows and have, I don't know, this is just what vegans tell me, that it's a very cruel process in which cows are like extracted of their milk.
Right.
I don't think that's grammatically correct.
By robots dressed as maids.
By robots dressed as maids, which makes it way creepier and really psychologically bad for the cows. But the fear gives the milk a much more delicious taste.
It is way better if they feel like they're about to be killed by a Westworld robot.
Exactly.
Yeah,
much like human flesh. It's the seasoning.
Yeah, that's true. It's that little je ne sais quoi. Yeah. Anyway, how are you, by the way?
I'm good. I don't know. Everything's falling apart. I'm very sad about Elizabeth Warren. I am not sad about the coronavirus. It doesn't really feel like a thing yet.
It never does until it does.
Until it does.
Yeah.
Listen, when they are stacking bodies like cordwood in Times Square, then I will panic.
Right.
But until that time, I choose to remain neutral.
I got two opinions on it today. One was from my doctor, and the other one was from my wife.
Okay.
And my wife works in...
Sounds like a setup of a
I know.
very, very sexist joke.
So a wife and a doctor walk into a bar, you see. What happened was I asked the doctor, I go, should I be worried about this thing? She's like, hey, honestly, it's like the flu, but we don't know how to fix it. But she said it so nonchalantly.
Right.
And then I said, but she goes, and it hits the lungs. She said, but you're not that old. You're fine. It's really the elderly that have to worry. I'm like, so the people with the most money. So that's why everyone's panicking. And then I asked my wife, I'm like, what are you getting from this? And she works in finance. She's like, oh, yeah, it's an apocalypse. They're closing the markets. They're moving traders to regional. I'm like, well, yeah, follow the money. I think my doctor is just on a death wish or something.
Yeah.
So nonchalant about it.
They are sanitizing the fuck out of first class.
That's the title for the episode.
Yeah.
Sanitizing the fuck out of first class.
That is an actual headline in the New York Times today.
Yeah, it's a new Emirates level of business class.
Exactly. We sanitize the fuck out of this. I don't know, man. But it might be a good time to revisit The Stand.
It could.
It's one of my favorite Stephen King books.
Yep, that was actually pretty good. I didn't mind that one.
You didn't mind? But wait, that feels like you're maybe not like...
No, I read it when I didn't understand it completely.
Okay.
So I got to go back and do a reread. I've been doing that a lot lately, rereading books that I didn't understand when I read them.
Perverse.
Yeah, I know, right? I reread The Rum Diary recently.
Interesting.
Hunter S. Thompson. I'm like, totally different book when you're older.
Yeah. I mean, things change once you go back into them. It's true.
Yeah.
I tried to read Nietzsche when I was in 8th grade because I thought that would make me cool. Guess what? Didn't understand it. Also, don't understand it now.
But cool to whom?
I don't know. I don't even know who I was trying to impress. I was just like, I want to be the kind of girl who reads Nietzsche in 8th grade. And I had a somewhat cool social studies teacher who looked at me and went, "Pah!"
Yeah, I mean, that's the appropriate response for the record. That's
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Is your hilarious young daughter, is she now, reading philosophers and...
She's reading The Philosopher's Stone.
That counts. That still counts.
Yeah, she is super into Harry Potter.
Good.
Yeah, so she can read it by herself, but she prefers for me to read it so that she doesn't have to ask me what things mean.
It's like a free audiobook.
Yeah, pretty much. I am her free audiobook and her napkin at all times.
It sounds like a nickname that she has for you.
Napkin. She wiped her nose on me a year or so ago, and I turned around. I was like, I am not your napkin. And she looks at me and she goes, my napkin can talk? Again,
she is funnier than both of us.
She seriously is.
Get her on this show.
Listen,
You
if the
must.
world does not implode in the next 6 months or so, I think she's got a bright future ahead of her.
You're the most optimistic person I know. 6 months?
I know.
I mean, come on.
Did I say months? I meant days.
Days. All right, now we're talking.
So,
Thanks for having me co-host. This is my favorite show. I love this show.
Yay!
I love this show.
I'm
very
glad
much.
you love this show.
I've been on the show as a host and as a nightmare
Nightmarer.
Nightmarer.
Yeah. Sorry, I got in a loop. I couldn't stop.
And I had a dream recently that I'll share with you, and because I've been having nonstop nightmares since October 2016, just before. I had a good dream, and it was conspicuous in its goodness. I was in Vegas, right? I hate Vegas.
Yeah.
But it was like the Venetian or Caesars or something, and I was in the theater. It was like theater seating, and this guy in like a real cut, tailored suit kind of pulled me aside and said, hey, he wants to see you. And I was like, oh, what? And in the dream, I don't know who that is. And then he opens a door, and there's this big, long, musty hallway, and he knocks on this door through this labyrinthian sort of thing, and opens it, and it's my friend Anthony Ledon. He's a comic. He's not like a big, headlining comic, but it was him. And the only way I could tell how far in the future it was I checked what our phones looked like.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, it's not that far in the future. Like, this could happen soon.
Right, this is an iPhone 16.
Yeah, that's how we measure time in dreams, is the phones. And then he said, yeah, come in, have a cocktail. And just as we clinked glasses, I woke up.
That's like when you are having a sex dream, but then right before you have sex, you wake up.
Or right before you die in a nightmare, you wake up.
I mean, you have to, or you will die in real life.
That's what I'm told.
Yes.
Maybe there was something in the drink.
Yeah.
Maybe it exploded. I don't know. But I'll never know. But it was a good dream. That's a good dream, isn't it?
That's nice. It's nice to have a good dream, I hear.
Well, yeah.
That does.
It was my first in a long time. That's why I was like, I remember it.
No, I do not. I have had maybe 2 pleasant dreams in my entire life.
Really?
Ever.
Wow.
Usually either nightmares of the screamy variety or nightmares of the tedious variety. I had a very tedious nightmare the other night that our building had sold and we had to move, which just happened to us in October. And I dreamed it happened again. And just in the dream, I was like, God damn it! Then we have to pack. Oh, I just got all this shit unpacked. So it was just like a stupid stress dream / memory from 5 months ago.
Middle class nightmares.
Yeah.
It's a very specific kind of nightmare.
It truly is.
I live in Alphabet City, and everyone around me has already left the neighborhood. We are the last building that hasn't been turned into fancy condos. So all our neighbors walk around with yoga mats and things. And it's a really interesting thing because we're all artists. We're in an artist co-op, and we're just counting down to the day when we get the knock on the door going, all right, come on. This has gone on long enough.
So you come to this country.
Yeah.
You steal our spots in the artist co-op.
Yes. I had to kill someone. I had to murder a poet.
Listen, then you're doing God's work, and I thank you.
There's a cartoonist, by the way. There's a cartoonist in Australia named Michael Lunick. Have you heard of Michael Lunick?
I have not.
Okay. We tried to invite him to a cartoonist event one time, and he goes, oh, I don't consider myself a cartoonist. I consider myself something of a visual poet.
Oh. Did you take a shit in that man's mouth?
The rest of the country did, because he got into a lot of strife over an anti-Semitic cartoon. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to defend you on this.
Wow.
Yeah, I let him have it.
Good for the 14 non-racist people in Australia.
13 now.
13,
I live here.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Want to get this show going?
Sure.
Let's get this show going.
Who we got on deck?
So, who here has been to Nightmares before? All right.
All right.
Yay. Sorry, I'm like squinting. Great. People have been to Nightmares before.
This
If
is
you have
good.
not been to Nightmares before, let me tell you what's going to happen. We are going to bring a guest up. We're going to chit-chat with that guest. Then that guest is going to tell us about a nightmare that they have had. Then I am going to pull down this screen, and we're going to sort of awkwardly shuffle off the stage and view a drawing that I have made based on their nightmare. And then I will give them the physical copy of that drawing that they can keep and or ritually burn. So, yeah. Does that sound acceptable to everybody? We all on the same page here? Excellent. Okay, our first guest is a former Gawker editor. She is a current novelist. She has a book coming out called Perfect Tunes, which I read because I'm awesome and it's super good. Please welcome to the stage, Emily Gould.
Woo! All right, Emily Gould.
Yeah, you sit there, take that. That's what I like to tell all my friends.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
I'm great. I can't wait for you to be in conversation with me about my book in a month, which is something that you promised to do. Just
I did promise to do that. Yes.
She just went white with fear. She's like, wait, what did I commit
Shit,
to?
What?
I mean, I figure as long as you've read it, it's like, why not
Listen,
get up on stage and talk about it?
As long
right?
as it's not next week, that's good. I'm out of town next week, and I would feel terrible. I was like, right, that thing I'm supposed to do next. I can't do that thing. But yeah, no, that's excellent.
It's called Perfect Tunes?
Perfect Tunes.
What's it about, dare I ask?
Oh, it's about the relationship between a mother and a daughter.
Okay.
Who the protagonist is a singer-songwriter, and she comes to New York when she's like in her very, very early 20s in 2001, and she's very talented, and her career is just starting, and then she falls in love with this slightly older, like very charismatic sort of rock star who gets her pregnant and then dies.
Right.
And then she
Bad
feels
typical.
Right? Who hasn't been there? And she feels like weirdly obligated to have the baby because he's dead. And so she like kind of low-key ruins her life. And, definitely puts her burgeoning artistic career on hold. And then sort of the second half of the book is about the daughter as a teenager, and she's trying to figure out who she is and like who her father was, and fighting with her mom. And meanwhile, her mom is trying to like take another stab at music.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
amazing.
making it sound a little bit like a bummer, but it has moments of levity.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a upbeat person. Most of
You
the
sound
time.
like you're trying to convince yourself.
It's been a rough week.
Yeah. I mean, we both have kids, so we know that children ruin your life anyway, whether or not you have them young. But I feel like, I had my daughter at 35, so I felt like my life was on the precipice of just being like ruined by time anyway.
I have actually nothing in common with the character in this book. I don't really know anything about
you
being
banged a louche musician or two.
Okay, well. but nobody talented. Draw the line there.
Yeah,
no, I was more into like the noise musician who plays like an entire show facing away from the audience. Just like as a statement about
At like 5 a.m. at the Sidewalk Cafe. Yeah.
that's more like the book. Actually,
really?
there are like scenes in the book that take place at RIP Sidewalk Cafe.
Yeah.
But my son actually, when I was on my way here, he was like, "Where are you going? Why are you abandoning us?" And I said that I was gonna go do something with someone named Emily Flake, and he said, "That's your name too." Like, That's a beautiful name, Emily Flake. He thought that was a very beautiful name.
Really?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell him he's the only person that thinks that, but I really, truly appreciate that. He'll learn.
Yeah, for what it's worth. A 4-year-old finds your name to be beautiful.
That's excellent. That 4-year-old is my new best friend. So I'm going to hang out with him and do grown-up stuff if that's cool.
I mean, yeah, heroin. Why not?
She knows all the best dives in Manhattan. It's gonna be awesome.
I do. All 3 of them that are left.
Yeah, right.
So I'm taking him to Jimmy's Corner. It's going to be pretty epic.
Awesome.
Yeah. Do you dream about your kids? This is something that like I often ask other parents on this show because it's interesting.
No. Sometimes there's a baby, but it's like a amorphous, it could be any baby in the same way that like an ex-boyfriend in your dream is just like ex-boyfriend sometimes. It's just like an amalgam of all the babies or ex-boyfriends you've ever known.
You ever date a baby?
Not any talented ones.
I mean, they're cheap,
It's getting really, really dark really fast.
Took a turn.
Yeah, the baby dream is, I mean, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but the baby dream is usually like, oh fuck, I've got this baby.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had that dream before I had kids, and it hasn't really materially changed that much now that I that's my actual life.
Yeah.
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 You're like, oh shit, what do I do with the baby that
Yeah.
I'm now
Was
in
that the
charge
working
of?
title of the book, by the way? Oh shit, what do I do with the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean
it's a title. It's the thing I think the minute I wake up.
important
Yeah.
theme of literature.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. No, I hardly ever dream about my daughter either. And even though she occupies quite a bit of my waking thoughts, no, I rarely have. Every once in a while, I'll have a nightmare that I've done something terrible to her. But I had way more baby dreams before I had a kid. But they were usually grotesque.
Yeah, I think the baby dreams before you have, well, maybe the baby dreams in general are about like gestating an idea or a project and creativity, and like it's a metaphor and it's never like an actual child.
Right.
I don't know. Since you guys are dream experts,
We are.
Yes.
well, just
Go on.
by default, I was talking to my friend about whether he has like we were talking about whether you have a city that you go to all the time in your dreams. Do you guys have dream cities?
That's a really, really excellent question.
Yeah.
Because yes, I do, but it's a very frightening dark world mashup of Baltimore and Manchester, Connecticut, which is where I grew up, and it is like way more fucked up than either of those cities, and it's mostly abandoned, and all the light is wrong, and that's basically just where I live in my head all the time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
His dream city has an old city and a new city, and the old city has like minarets and like beautiful architecture, and the new city has a monorail.
Monorail? Monorail? Is it North Haverbrook?
When I told him about my dream city, I was feeling so insecure because mine is like just like basically Manhattan, but with some like details.
What
like
details?
It's it's like sort of. It's so boring.
But-
Sorry, this
but-
is like
No, this is
But is there a
interesting.
monorail in your Manhattan?
no. This, I
It's the
don't.
High Line.
I feel like now I should take this up with like next time I'm having the dream that takes place in my city. I should like go find where the city council meeting is taking place and being like, let's get our act together, guys. Like, we don't have a monorail. Meanwhile, my friend Gideon has a monorail in his dream city.
So you want to have a dream where you institute a bureaucratic process?
Yes.
I mean, as long as I'm having to spend so much time there, I might as well make it a little easier to get around. Because I'm often finding myself like there's like one particular subway station that doesn't really exist that I often find myself in this dream. It's like, and it's sort of in like, East Midtown of my dream city. Anyway,
Well, like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope that your monorail dreams come true. If you want, you can come build a monorail in my terrible Baltachester.
Baltachester, yeah.
Manchimore? I don't know.
Manchimore.
Which is more upsetting?
Yeah. I think Manchimore is pretty upsetting.
Yeah, Manchimore is pretty fucking gross,
Sounds
and
like
I wish I had
something
never said it.
Sounds like something I caught on the subway.
Yeah.
I got Manchimore again.
I'll never be clean. So let's talk about the dream, the nightmare that you told me about.
Oh, sure.
It's a very awkward segue.
Well, I was trying to, because I'm like you, all my dreams are nightmares, basically. I was trying to think of like the canonical one from when I was young, which was inspired by a puppet show that came to my elementary school about how you shouldn't play with electricity, like the box. Yeah, like you shouldn't touch live. They had like a PSA puppet show that came to my elementary school about how you shouldn't touch electrical wires.
Was this part of a slate of safety programming, or were they just hyper focused on the electrical wire program? And if so, what was up with your town?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
we don't insulate shit.
Maybe there was like one specific tragedy that had occurred. I'm just making this up, but
a puppeteer died.
Or maybe the electric company gave a grant to like a puppet troupe or something. They were like, here's the commission, like come up with something for that can be for kids, but that's also about how like don't touch sockets.
Right.
So anyway,
get that Con Ed money, puppeteers.
So bizarre that this happened, but I like also it had songs and I still remember the lyrics.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
like,
effective.
I mean, it made a big impression because it was like fucking terrifying. Like puppets are getting
Did you only see it once, or did it come back around a lot?
I
Did you follow this puppet show like it was the Grateful Dead?
Are you a part of this troupe now? Is this like a Second City thing? What is this?
No, I think I only saw it once, but then I just dreamed about it like every night.
It's like an alien abduction.
Right?
So, may I ask, were they sock puppets or marionettes? What are we talking here?
And they were like not Muppets because that's probably a trademark, but Muppet-esque situation.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it was quality entertainment. I mean,
as all puppet shows are.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not like there's anything such thing as a bad puppet show.
Never seen one myself.
You're right. They're not human mimes. So tell me how this played into your dream.
well, in the dream, I was like playing in some sort of like electric wire strewn situation, like maybe like a field where there were lots of like electrical thing. That's
where electricity grows, is in fields.
Yep.
Like
that's where they make it. Yeah. That's where they farm it, and there was a long slide like at a playground, but I knew that at the bottom of the slide there was like, zzz,
electric.
Yeah, and it would zap me and I would die, and and then I would wake up before dying, obviously, because I'm alive.
Right.
That's the rules. Those are the rules.
Right.
And so I had this dream so many times that I decided to start manipulating it, and I like invented, as a 7-year-old, the concept of lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what can I put at the bottom of the slide that will mitigate my fear? And I am revealing like probably my exact age when I say this, but at the best thing that I could imagine at that point as a 7-year-old was strawberry shortcake, not the food.
Right.
The popular
Yeah.
character,
Yeah.
strawberry shortcake.
And she would be there like waiting to bring me into her land of like fun baked good themed.
Right.
It was very wholesome, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Very extremely wholesome
Yeah,
content.
and it worked, and I managed to like graft strawberry shortcake onto my horrifying electricity slide.
That's
dream.
amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it had a happy ending.
Now,
I guess.
hang on a sec. How did you figure out how to lucid dream at 12?
7, man.
7?
12-year-olds don't like
Yeah.
strawberry shortcake.
Did you say
Yeah.
you invented lucid? I mean, you thought you invented lucid dreaming.
Well, I just came up with how to I
Right.
I like woke myself up enough in the dream to like
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
Well, necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, I'm not making any great claims to.
Listen,
Yeah.
some kids figure out how to read super early. Some kids figure out how to control their dreams. Like, we all get a talent.
Other kids read Nietzsche.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, this is what I was doing instead of figuring out how to get into a good college or something.
Nobody figures that out at 7, do they? Oh, shit. It's New York, so probably yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, they figured it out in pre-K, like billion%.
It's cool. We're fucked.
We just had our like parent-teacher conference today, and his pre-K teacher is like, he is not nailing the concept of a rectangular of a rectangular prism yet. He can't identify a rectangular prism, and my husband and I are looking at each other like, bitch, we can't identify a rectangular.
Wow.
What is that? I mean, you probably can because you are a trained visual artist.
It took me a good 30 seconds to realize you hadn't just said prison.
Yeah.
So
you know those dome prisons they have?
They have rectangular ones too?
They keep superheroes in the domes. Yeah, rectangulars.
Yeah.
That's what they call them. That's how they say it.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Now
I'm thinking about like a New Yorker cartoon. It's a whole thing with the prison. Anyway. Sorry.
I'm so sorry your kid is broken.
Yeah. You can get a refund.
What did I expect?
Yeah. They've changed Strawberry Shortcake, and now she's like kind of hipper, like Dora. It's a little upsetting.
The only reason I know that is because, like, for a weird moment, like probably circa, like, darkest moment of 2019 when you really couldn't be addicted to social media for the moment. I got addicted instead to playing this game where Strawberry Shortcake and her friends make you ice cream cones. Yeah. It's like it's really satisfying. You have to like get the flavors like in the right combination, serve them to people.
Huh.
It's like working at an
it's
ice cream
a job.
stand.
I was going to say, this is the training manual for Van Leeuwen. This is what they use.
Yeah, it goes like faster and faster and faster. And,
what happens when you lose?
Ice cream looks delicious. Strawberry Shortcake comes and she's like, I'm a little disappointed in you.
Really? That's horrifying.
No, but she's like very gentle about it. She's like, you'll do better next time.
That's worse. It's way worse if she's gentle about it.
No, because someday you will fail, and she will never not be disappointed in you.
I never took it too personally.
Wow.
Maybe it's time to stop.
I'm taking it personally for you. Do you want to see your drawing?
I would love to. Yay.
All right,
let's get out of the way here.
Let's do this thing. All right. So this is you sliding down a slide. Strawberry Shortcake is there. The caption here is what they should have told you is to stay away from comment sections. As we all know, that is the real electrocuting agent.
God, I'm going to frame this and hang it up on above my bed.
You sure you don't want to burn it? Because Strawberry Shortcake is very easily disappointed, apparently.
And she does look like pretty disturbing.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't call this show Nightmares for nothing. Emily Gould, thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily Flake.
That was great. Wow.
All right.
If you do hang the drawings above your bed, it's like a dream catcher. It's like a nightmare catcher.
It's true, yeah. They're actually weirdly absorbent. I use very expensive paper. Yeah, I was actually terrified of Strawberry Shortcake as a kid because I had a music box that came halfway open and just did this thing and woke me up as a kid, and I thought that Strawberry Shortcake had somehow caused this to happen.
She does that. She's very disappointed in you. Did you know that?
She is a sly bitch. Is what Strawberry Shortcake is. Okay. Our next guest is a comedian and a writer. She is a host of an awesome podcast called Fake the Nation. Please welcome to the stage Negin Farsad.
Hey.
Woo. Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Hey, how's it going? Hello.
How you? You always have the best dresses.
Oh, thank you.
And spectacles as well.
I mean, I need the eyeball enhancement. That's what they call it, right? Eyeball enhancement.
That's a thing.
I'm glad to be here because it's changing my mood. I was like an Elizabeth Warren. I'm a Warren Democrat.
Right.
Without a Warren to vote for. Anyway, so I was having a tough day.
Today sucked.
It really did.
Sucked, and I heard about it. So my podcast is a political comedy podcast, and it's me and a rotating cast of comedians. And today I was on with Ophira Eisenberg and Weston Wamp, who's actually a GOP think tank strategist and podcaster. And so I cried in front of a Republican about
Cool.
Elizabeth Warren today.
Wow.
On the mic.
They
so
love that.
anyway,
They really love
that.
it is. Yes, it's riveting podcasting when you have a girl crying.
Right. I mean, sadly, yes, it absolutely is. But, yeah.
That's how Republicans get their power, by the way. They
Yeah.
absorb tears from Democrats.
Did his proboscis come and like take the tears from your eyes, or did he just lick them?
You know what? He was actually like very kind about it. He
Right.
was like, I'm actually moved that you're so moved, that you cared so much or whatever.
Aw, you
And then
have
he tried to
emotions.
and then he really tried to make me feel good about Biden. So, he was really like trying to,
Somebody trying to make you feel good about Biden is such an insulting
Right?
way to be comforted. I don't even know what to do with that.
What really happened afterwards is that I bought a bunch of chocolate.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
walked right into a store whose clothing I could not afford
Excellent.
and immediately bought a dress.
Yeah.
That I will definitely return.
Yeah.
But just I had to get that done in the moment. And then
Nice.
anyway, so now I'm feeling better. I'm here with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
There you go.
I made meringue cookies because I had a bunch of leftover egg whites for reasons.
Hang on.
That
you
got
can't,
real weird.
you can't glaze over that.
The imaginations of why you have so many egg whites lying around.
Listen, I'm just going to let that live in all of your heads. But yeah, so I made meringues and they're delicious. And I ate like 14 of them today, just in a, like, I'm just going to put something crunchy and sweet in my mouth and try to make that sensation. Make all the other situations. I just described eating my feelings.
Meringue cookies make up for democracy failing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No,
It's-
of
it's
course not.
It's
just,
a heavy lift for some cookies.
Yeah, I mean, especially for meringues, they're so light.
They just crumble right in your hand.
They truly do.
Yeah, but at least they don't tell you they're disappointed in you like strawberry shortcakes do. My God.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lemon meringues are just like, oh, you're good.
Yeah, you're fine. Just eat me.
Eat
I'm
me.
delicious. I'm technically only 30 calories, except so many grams of sugar. Yeah.
They're delicious, though.
And it didn't try to sell me on Biden. So
Biden
there's
doesn't
that.
even eat meringue cookies.
Biden is a meringue cookie.
We have an episode title.
Yeah. A dried out egg white of a man. That's going to be his campaign slogan, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But enough of this malarkey.
Yeah.
My God.
I mean, it's basically Biden. I'm the only option at this point.
Yeah.
Is the campaign slogan.
So Biden, sometimes a choice is no choice at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah. Listen, I was really looking forward to be excited to vote. I now feel like I will just be voting with the most tepid of feelings.
Oh my God! And I've said, I'm going to gleefully campaign for whoever our
Sure.
nominee is.
Yeah, especially now that it won't be Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Right. Thank God. So I'll be like gleefully campaigning, except for it is going to be an act that I put on because I will be begrudgingly, gleefully campaigning for
Yeah.
whoever that, I mean, I have some fondness for Bernie, so we'll see. It's not over. It's not over.
You're right. It's fine. It's
Campaignfully campaigning.
yeah. Oh, nice portmanteau.
Campaignful. There you go.
Well done.
They don't pay me the big bucks for nothing.
Yeah.
They really do. They really do.
And
I had a web series once called Campaignful.
Really?
Yes.
I'm a hack, ladies and gentlemen.
Not the first one to portmanteau that portmanteau.
It did seem like it has this been done. Let me Google the cartoon
sorry.
bank.
Campaignful.
and all of a sudden we were Sniglets.
Here we are.
Yeah. Oh man. I really hope other people remember the column Sniglets, or that just sounds like a weird word I just made up.
I got it, but then
I had no
just
idea
realized.
what
It was a
I was
column.
going with it,
It was
though.
a column of like made up portmanteau words.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. At the time known as Sniglets. It was the 80s, man. What can I say? Before we get into your dream, let me ask you: do you have dreams about your kid?
Oh, it's weird. I have a baby who is 14 months old, and I have in fact, as you guys were talking about that earlier, I realize I don't have dreams with any children or babies in them at all.
Interesting.
Is that weird?
No, I think that's totally normal.
Yeah, I think that's the rule now. It seems, yeah.
Do you have dreams with babies and kids?
No, I have dreams with my puppy in it. That's about it.
I don't even have. I have a dog too, and he does not appear in any of my dreams.
Right.
Animals don't really appear in my dreams. My dreams are so utterly boring. They're really like a lot like the dream about your building being sold and having to move again. A lot of my dreams are just like, oh, fuck, you forgot to buy milk today. God damn it. And then it's like me remembering in my dream that I forgot to do something and then feeling annoyed in my dream. And I'm just like sitting at our kitchen table. You know what I mean? There's nothing exciting about the dream. It's just I'm annoyed. And then I wake up being like, oh, great, I forgot to do something. I'm annoyed, you know?
Right.
And like that's all that happens. And I have really classic anxiety dreams, like the ones where you're supposed to take a test and you haven't studied. I have a lot of those. And I think because I was, guys, I was an overachiever as a kid. Yeah.
You read Nietzsche and understood it.
I read Jean-Paul Sartre.
Oh, hello. She even pronounced it correctly.
Wait a second. In the original French. Stop it. I know.
Wow.
And I really did not understand that.
Right. Wait. Because you didn't understand the concepts, or because you didn't understand the French?
High school French is not going to carry you through, like, existentialism.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I was an overachiever, and so and I was like always, I was not top of my class, but I was number 2.
Right. Who was number 1 though?
You know what? It was a tie between Ryan and Marissa, and I don't want to talk about it. It still upsets me to this day. I should obviously get over it. I also got rejected by Yale and Harvard. It doesn't matter. And so but I was always like, in the top 2 and always working really hard and trying to get the best grades and all of that stuff, and showing like full A's on a report card to my parents, and then being like, okay, like not like I'm immigrant parents who were not like I'm proud of you, like I'm not literally. I don't know what the word for I'm proud. I don't know how to formulate that sentence in Farsi, the language we spoke at home, because my parents never utilized those words. So I'm probably still just trying to impress them, and it will never happen. But and then I became a comedian. So anyways.
Surprise.
Very much of a
Say goodbye to that dream.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, and so I think I still have those kinds of anxiety dreams about test taking. They're just deeply ingrained in me from my childhood.
Right. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I opened up a sample SAT recently online just to see if that was still a thing that I could do. And I mean, clearly it did fine on the English part because I use that language every day.
Right.
Then I opened up the math part and I immediately started crying.
Right.
I no longer.
There's a map part on the SAT?
Math.
Oh,
yeah.
No, she has to navigate between.
You had to like pick countries,
right? I like to think I'd still do okay on the map part, but no
the
math. I just look. I'm like, I literally don't understand what this is asking me to do.
Was it algebra, balancing equations?
Sure. Yes. all of those things. Listen, full disclosure, I never understood what a cosine was.
Me either.
Yeah. So
is it something
there
to do with
time I understood.
Of course.
I can't say
because
you
were
I was nerd bomb.
You were
and then
vice valedictorian or whatever they call smart
which is
kids.
Nothing. I ended up going to grad school for public policy and African American studies because you need both of those master's degrees to become a comedian. And I had to do like calculus for microeconomics, and I was like just sweating my dick off the entire time as like an adult by that point, pretending like. But yeah, I mean, and then I would just do stand up at night. So then I was just like, am I even serious about any of this?
Right.
I wasn't.
You want to be able to make informed jokes. So, about.
you guys.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm so good about making informed jokes.
Listen, I don't want to brag, but I had an older sister who got pregnant and dropped out of high school. So My parents' thing was don't do that.
Right.
So that
you're lucky.
Yeah, I got super, super lucky. They were like, have you dropped out of high school and are you currently pregnant? It's like, nope. No. Like, all right. Like, have fun. Is that an F? Well,
it's funny. My brother is 13 years older than me, and he became a doctor, but super begrudgingly, wasn't excited about it. You know, like, picture a guy like doing well in medical school but being like, this sucks, and like getting residencies at prestigious hospitals and being like, this is the worst. So like he was just annoyed at becoming a doctor the whole time, but doing very well.
Right.
And my parents were like, well, this is a drag, because they're immigrants, so their whole thing was like, we're legally bound to like pressure you into becoming a doctor.
Right.
But my brother was such a drag about it that they were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be the first, female president of the United States. And they were like, okay, fine, because at that time I was trying to really like be an adult and if I can wear pantsuits and stuff. And it didn't. I interned for Hillary Clinton and Charlie Rangel. Guys, I'm a movement person, and anyways, I've had a lot of broken hearts because Hillary worked out real well as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know what I was saying.
I think basically both of our older siblings
paved a way.
A trail for us in very different ways.
Right.
Is your brother still a doctor?
My brother's still a doctor.
Wow.
Yeah, my brother's still a doctor.
Does he hate healing people all the time?
He's just like, I guess he's like more excited about the business aspect now or whatever, but he's still a doctor. And, and then I think what's weird though is my brother's like he's a doctor, and he does very well and he's got money and all that stuff, but he's like, doesn't have a grandkid for them. And he's like a serial monogamist, but like just never actually gets married to any of these women. And so, so he doesn't have like a stable relationship and he doesn't have a kid. And I, the comedian, am the stable one in the family, in the Iranian family.
Wow.
Man.
Wherever you ask my parents, like, what, what does your daughter do? My mom will be like, she's comedian, but she went to school at Columbia for, they like go fall back on my like degrees to feel some sort of like to reduce the shame.
I like that they give your credits though.
They give my credits.
You would have seen her on such shows as.
That's right. Oh man.
Yikes.
I need to say as a sidebar that your color scheme right now is also my very favorite color scheme: warm reds, blues, and yellows. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Coming from
Early
an
spring.
artiste, that means a lot.
Listen, like I like simple things like primary colors.
I like that your watch matches your spectacles as well. That's very
that is very nice.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
On an
Listen,
audio,
nobody else is going to be getting any compliments tonight because I'm giving them
we just
all
used them all
to you.
up. Yeah.
So, but let's talk about the dream that you had.
Okay. Okay. So the dream I had was about an ex-boyfriend, and he was a whole thing, which I could tell you about, but like he had me come to his apartment, which is a railroad apartment, but it was like updated somehow in the dream so that I could break up with his new girlfriend. Isn't that weird?
That feels so much like something that would actually happen. Like that seems like one of your kind of like stress pain in the ass dreams, utterly plausible and definitely a thing.
Right. Well, so he had he had this roommate who was like this tall, blonde, really gorgeous woman. And I am super, like, I'm married to another dude right now, and it's cool. Like, I literally don't think about this guy at all. So it's also weird to me to have a dream about him because I don't care for him in any way.
Right.
I hope that he remains alive or whatever.
Right. An absence of harm is a thing.
Right. A better way of saying that is I wish him the best. But rather than I hope he's alive. But but he had this really beautiful roommate who I suspected he was cheating on me with. And, and it's funny because she was, I'm like this like 5'3" sort of like garden gnome type person. And she was this, 6'2", beautiful blonde. Like she looked like a tennis player. Like, just the kind of person that I imagine men masturbate to. Just all the.
Not at 6'2". That's too tall.
I mean, yeah, no. And I'm probably she was probably like a perfect 5'11" or whatever it is. Like that perfect tall lady height. And she really, I mean, and we went on a like weekend on a lake thing with a bunch of people, and she was there, and and everyone went like was water skiing and all this shit, and of course she was just like flying through the air, and she was perfection, and they were like, Negin, it's your turn, and I immediately fall from the thing that you're supposed to hold on to and all of that stuff, and I'm like screaming and drowning, and it's really, and I come back in the boat, and then I get motion sick and I vomit, and I'm just like this troll, like slimy, gross, and like in a corner being disgusting, while this blonde woman was just perfection. So that's who I basically, a version of her is who I had to break up with for him.
Wow. It seems like she's perhaps stuck in your head just as much as I mean, which is fair because tall blonde women only exist to make the rest of us shit our pants in public.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, and then the other weird thing about him is the way. So we were together for many years, but the way he sort of like had a little bit of a breakdown because he lost his job, and he was really like a up in the air George Clooney with his like frequent flyer miles type guy,
his little
and
backpack.
so like and so like his job was very, very important to him, and it's jobs are important. I mean, I get it, but like he had an oversized reaction to losing his job, and it led to like a lot of crazy behaviors. And then and one of those behaviors is that when I went away on a tour, comedy tour, I said to him, "You should really see someone because I don't know how to communicate with you." And he was like, "Yeah, sure. You're absolutely right. I want to fix this, my psyche. I want to fix everything." And I never saw him again. He disappeared.
He vanished?
Yeah, he didn't take his stuff from my place. I never heard from him again.
Did he go see God?
And it was we were together for years. We were together for years. And then I thought like maybe he was dead, but I could tell from like Facebook and stuff like he was not dead. And
he didn't mark himself dead.
Yeah. Like he didn't change his status.
Right. You got to change your status when you're dead.
And then also he didn't tell his friends because his friends would keep contacting me like, "Oh my God, so I saw your something," or whatever. And I was like, okay, so his friends don't know that he disappeared on me. He just disappeared on me. And so it was the weirdest breakup.
Wow.
Because I had to break up myself. Like I just had to choose a day. I chose a day. And I was like, okay, if I don't hear from him by this day, then it's over.
Wow. It's like when a sailor is lost at sea and you have a mock funeral.
Yeah.
Man.
You put like a dummy that vaguely put some of his clothes and his hat on him and just put it in a chair and just pretended what he would say.
I weekend at Bernie this breakup.
Right. And it went like all afternoon. You were throwing shit around. It was a whole thing. And you got your catharsis.
I did like throw something in the East River. I don't remember. Some object. It was like a letter or something. And I felt bad because I was like, is this pollution? I don't know. But anyways, I like walked to the East River and like dramatically threw something in the water.
Yeah,
like,
I'll bet the East River's really upset. Threw something in the fucking East River,
And then
hit a body.
And then I dumped a bag of motor oil in the East River as well. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was all of it. So it's weird to dream about him at all.
Yeah.
It's weird, and it was years ago. This was many, many years ago.
Can I ask, have you seen him since?
Yeah, so the interesting thing is I was walking, I just hosted I do some radio hosting sometimes at Sirius, and I had just left the building, and I was like walking down the street feeling good about myself, and I saw a cachapa stand, and so I bought myself a cachapa, and I felt a weird presence. When you feel a presence
at a cachapa stand.
At a cachapa stand,
I know that feeling.
And
have it all the time.
And you know when you're like also eating from a stand, walking and eating, and it's just you don't look gorgeous doing that. I was walking and I see him in the distance in Bryant Park sitting at one of those tables, and he was just like staring at me, and I was like, oh motherfucker, I don't want to fucking, first of all, I don't need you watching me eat a cachapa. And I was like, so, you know, my current husband had just proposed, and I was so happy, and I'm still so happy, and I was just like, and I just turned the other way. I had no interest in seeing him or saying anything.
Right.
There was I didn't have a speech prepared or anything like that. I was just like, oh, you're so old news, you mean nothing. And like, I walked away.
Well, maybe you can burn your drawing as a form of closure.
And throw the ashes in the East
River. Yeah.
There's a theme developing here.
You want to see it?
Oh my God,
I'm dying to see this one. Oh, boy.
Abraham Lincoln and Beto, I believe. So he is asking you if you will break up with this lady, and the caption here is, yeah, but she can't punch you in the dick, which is all I assume was his fear, was that he would get punched in the dick. So that's something.
You created a remarkable likeness.
Did I? I'm pretty sure I channeled him. It felt weird when I was doing it, so it must be right.
Yeah, his presence, you felt it.
Exactly. Yeah. And
That's amazing.
And I didn't even have any stand food. So,
and she would wear those fucking boots.
Man.
Like she would.
Gross. I manifested her too.
Yeah, it's weird because in the dream she was like had dark brown hair, and I maybe told you that, I don't know, but she had dark hair, but it was like a version of her, but who was blonde anyway, and it looked she had that, and she had a high ponytail.
All right. Well, fuck her. Negin, thank you so much.
That was great.
Negin Farsad, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
You guys, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. Please buy lots of alcohol because the world is ending.
Woo!
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Tonight, the role of John will be being played by someone significantly less adorable and accented.
Listen, you don't have the accent, but I would put you at least 2 layers more adorable. I mean, he's not here anymore, so I can say that. I can de-compliment.
No, he had like one of those good skulls
insults.
where it's all filled out, like he didn't have any missing parts. Like my people, the Irish, we always like miss one thing. Like, no, you can't have an upper lip. That's not, or a chin. Like you're always like some key facial element is missing, and that motherfucker had the whole skull. Everything was there.
Listen, Jason might have a whole skull, but I'm sure he's missing internal things.
Oh, Jason! I'm sorry, I keep calling him John.
It's fine. Like
I just call all men John. Like they're all. It came out of like hearing about prostitutes as a kid. I was like, oh, just all men are named John, huh?
Right.
I like that. But we got prostitutes, whores, sluts. But for the guys buying any of those services, it's just John.
Just John. It's just
John.
You're just a guy's
Just the name of a few presidents.
Yeah.
You know.
You're just dude.
Keep it cool. Right.
Yeah.
Just bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good times.
It's cool. Jason is the John of 1980, whatever he was born.
Yeah. No.
So, I didn't mean to say that quite that dismissively. I'm sure millennials are fine.
Didn't everyone though have a class where there were like at least 3 Jasons? Like the last initial was key in identifying which Jason you meant.
Yes.
Or with some terrible like characteristic like tiny Jason or hairy Jason or smelly Jason
or Jason whose dad left.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh. It's
clunky,
AKA
but it's descriptive.
Sad Jason.
Right. Really?
Or AKA Smacky Jason.
Right.
You know, like he's got...
Or really all
sad.
Jasons.
Really,
Yeah.
there's a lot. Yeah, I made out with a Jason in high school. I don't have a lot of those stories, but...
Interesting. Have I made out with... I have never made out with a Jason.
It's really for the best.
It really is. Yeah. Oh, man. I started doing these, like, breathing exercises recently, and now sometimes I notice that I get weird heart flutters, and I don't know if correlation equals causation, et cetera, but I'm like, maybe I should just breathe like an asshole again. Like,
right, you
not
think like
do
your heart's in
intentional
shock
thing.
because it's like oxygen.
Too
What
much,
are we doing with this?
Too much. Slow down.
This is a lot, Emily.
Yeah.
No, I I mean, when you said breathing exercises, my instinct is to be like, I'll make time for breathing later.
Yeah.
I'm stressed out. I haven't taken a breath since October 2016. I think I've just been clenching, waiting for, someone to come save us. But no one's coming.
Yeah.
It's just us.
Breathing's overrated.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's not? Snacks. And I think you can see the effect here.
Right.
I'm just going with snacks instead of sleep.
Listen, let me direct your attention back to those meringue cookies.
Oh, goddamn, they were good.
Yeah.
Last time I made her babysit my kid. Show up and she sends us with this huge bag of cookies.
Yeah.
I can't compete with that. This kid's like, how come when we leave the house, we're not leaving with a big bag of your cookies? What's
You also
the
have
story?
revealed that I make meringue kind of a lot.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Sometimes I have a lot of egg whites.
That's because of all of the other shit that you were cooking. We showed up and she had like a bakery laid out. She was like, it's just real cash. I just made a couple of 3-layer cakes.
Can we just pretend I'm doing sex stuff with the yolks?
I mean, is that the part you want to do sex stuff with? I'd go with the whites, I guess.
The yolk is fattier. I feel like the whites would become sticky very quickly, whereas the yolks, I think, would. Wow, why am I really falling down this path?
Well, you know what? I will say I immediately started linking up and just being like, well, there's already a lot of like weird proteins involved in the situation.
Yeah.
Might as well add some egg white and really mix it up. But,
Probably best not to Google egg and sex.
Really, anything in sex, you're going to come up in a bad way.
You probably.
There's a lot of dangerous areas. You type in balls. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you're looking for. You're going to find a kind of balls you're not necessarily looking at.
Hey, man, we live in the world we made.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I snickered at so many ball jokes in my youth. That's just the chickens coming home to roost.
What you get?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Want to do some guests?
No. We're just going to talk about me and my personal problems. I do want to say, on the true theme of the show, nightmares, got to experience my nightmare today, which was me out front of this show peeling my kid off of me and handing her off to the sitter. And then coming upstairs and finding a cute guy with an accent has taken my girl. So, I lived what so many sad men we know have lived. To see my cute girls with some dude with an adorable accent and glasses. How dare she?
Well, except they didn't so much peel their kid off them as they just like disappeared like smoke in the night.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's true. And to be fair, I peeled her off, but she'll be getting put right back on the big sticker.
Yeah,
later tonight.
She's not going to acquire so much fuzz while she's out in the world.
That's all right. I brought like one of those lint rollers, so I'll just roll that kid off, and we're good to go.
Yeah,
I'm just hoping she doesn't get coronavirus out there on the streets.
Not tonight.
Let's hope not.
Give it 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No, the kids aren't getting coronavirus. Like the actual literal children, apparently, I don't know if they're no one has figured out why, but children do not seem to be getting.
That is 1,000% an episode of the original Star Trek.
Pretty much.
The rest of us are gonna die.
Yeah.
And then these little fuckers are gonna have like a Lord of the Rings situation.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, it's time. Let them take it. I want to see that little kid UN form itself and do probably a better job than we're doing.
Look, I'm pretty sure Tug already knows how to drive.
Yeah.
So
and if not, she could Google it. She'll figure it out.
She'll be one
fine.
up on my husband.
Yeah. So we should both tattoo some sort of like maps of where to find water on our bodies for their corpse reference later, and then they'll be good.
Yeah.
This is what modern parenting is, if you're wondering. This is what it is. Just lightly preparing for the apocalypse using Pinterest.
Which, weirdly, will still be functional after the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Every other site down, Pinterest, totally there.
It's the roaches of the internet. It's going to still be there. You'll be like, you know what? We haven't had running water in weeks, but I know how to make the fuck out of a pot holder.
Right.
Knit.
Well, listen, that bunker's not going to decorate itself.
That's right. I need some more fucking doilies to get through this apocalypse. Yeah, no, it's good times.
Oh, man. Let's bring
now
up a
some
guest.
Yeah.
All right, so our next guest is an editor at the Nib, which is a comics website. They are also my boss because I do stuff for the Nib. They are allowed to yell at me.
Do they often take that advantage?
You never have. You can. Yes, come on.
Bring it.
Matt Lubchansky.
Hey, y'all.
Hi.
Do you want to know what happens when you Google sex egg?
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously.
You get like an egg that you masturbate into. It's like a plastic thing with it's ribbed on the inside. It's like a very discreet fleshlight looking thing. We just checked. It's not like I just knew that.
I did wonder if that was just like a thing you.
I mean,
would
it's like a
argue,
thing. I've seen it,
Right.
but I didn't know it. You know,
Right. You don't know it intimately in the biblical sense.
Whatever. I don't have like the neural pathways to like always be thinking of the sex egg, but you're like, sex egg. I'm like, oh, I've seen the sex egg.
All right.
I think to find that there's like I feel like that's a more practical version of the fleshlight. Because I am never looking for an egg in an emergency circumstance and disappointed that it turns out it's not an egg. You know what I mean? Like when there's a blackout, I'm not tricked by a masturbation device into thinking for a second I found help.
The lights are off. I need an egg.
Right.
I need the yolks for something.
Yeah.
You can make a candle out of an egg.
I just always picturing somebody's mom finding their fleshlight in that terrible circumstance and just being both frustrated and disgusted at the same time.
The sex egg is the second worst masturbation device I've ever seen. Our friend has a party every year where we do like a Yankee swap white elephant thing. We bring the worst present possible. We call it Spite Elephant.
Nice.
And, the first year somebody brought a foot that you have sex with.
A foot?
It's like a foot.
Huh. Did it have an insertive element?
It was like a severed foot, and the top. I'm just pointing to my foot. The top had like a hole in it. It was like a
where the bone would be.
But it was made of like gel, and it was like I think the end game for foot fetishists, right, is to finally.
Like fucking
I don't know why I came up here with this kind of energy. I'm sorry.
No. Just like to be fair,
day,
you should
guys.
definitely not apologize. This is legit the energy of the show.
Yes.
What's up? Sex egg. Foot.
Foot fuck.
Foot fuck.
All right.
I gotta tell you got to stop ordering sex toys off of edgein.com.
But they have such nice belts.
Yeah, they do. Their nipple belts are the best.
Listen, I don't want to dwell on sex eggs all night, but I do.
I'm gonna
have. I do have questions about, is it like one of those legs? Does everybody here remember legs?
Remember legs. I'm old enough to remember the legs egg.
Yeah, but so can you split it in half like a legs egg, and then you fuck the half, or do you somehow?
What is it? My partner Jai had it up on her phone. What was so what's going on? Just bring it up. I just want to take a look. Yeah, thank you very much. It's like you split it open. I see a cross-sectional drawing, which I remember from my days as I have a mechanical engineering degree. So what you see here is it's called a cross-sectional.
Show off.
Yeah.
No,
it's it's like she was saying before. You need those masters to be a comedian. To be a cartoonist, you actually have to have a mechanical engineering degree. Yeah.
Yeah. For the people at home, my descriptive text here is: it looks like you would be fucking the egg from Aliens.
Yes.
Huh.
This is xenomorph ass.
That's definitely some xenomorph shit.
That diagram looks a little bit like there's two aspirins on a dick and butthole.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be like don't stick it there.
I got it. I figured it out. Okay. So the top is like the front of a person. And the bottom of the egg is like the back of a person. They're demonstrating the two holes that the egg. This is a superior sort of technology in the fleshlight because it's got two kinds of holes.
Wow!
I thought that I was misinterpreting. I thought that was the Ghostbusters no symbol over places you shouldn't stick the egg.
I think it was showing you where to stick the egg.
I think we're obviously all getting sex eggs later, right?
Yeah, right. This episode brought to you by Sex Eggs.
Yeah. Sexed.com.
I don't have a dick, but I do want to stick my finger in an egg.
Ironically, that was already their code. We didn't get that special for the show.
I just type nightmare into every part where there is a code just to see if that's their sale code for the day. It works 15% of the time. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm good.
Yeah.
For the record, I've never yelled at you.
You haven't. You have not. Even though I richly deserve to be yelled at. I skate real close to the edge of blowing deadlines a lot.
No, you are. I will say, for a cartoonist, extraordinarily. I shouldn't be telling you this. But
you really shouldn't.
No, because this is just going to be fucking awful in 2 weeks when you're filing again. But you are very good at deadlines. As evidenced by me having to stay up till 3 a.m. all the time.
Right.
And it's not you, generally. You're pretty good.
Well, that makes me feel mildly better about myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
On being just normal.
Wow.
Yeah.
And yet it feels like a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling politically? I ask you this because you are a political cartoonist and you deal with political cartoons.
I spent all day being very depressed about Joseph Biden, who is a nightmare person who can't be president.
Right.
I don't know. I'm a little tired today because I stayed up late last night watching a webinar so I could text bank for Bernie.
Right.
So Joe Biden's not the president, which is important to me. And it's important that we have president who is maybe perhaps actively good.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, politically things are fraught, and it is a nightmare to have to pay attention all day to it.
Yeah.
I think a lot about. I was trying to figure out what kind of dream to talk to you about for this, and I have a lot of. I haven't been remembering my dreams a lot lately, but I do have a lot of dreams about online, which is so depressing.
Wow.
So depressing.
Man,
guys.
that sucks.
It's awful. And I don't want to spend all my time here talking about it, but I do have recurring dreams where I'll get into trouble for doing something, and there's just people yelling at me.
Right.
I just put my hand on your face.
All right.
I'm Jewish. It's like a thing.
The Irish other side of the same.
It's fine. I'm going to use this hand to just take it.
Right.
No, I got a thing where people will just be yelling at me, and I wake up and I'm like, I got to check if I'm being yelled at. And
right.
Generally, I am, but by the generally correct people, they're mad about something else.
Maybe right.
The hands, because I'm Jewish. But I have another recurring nightmare where it's kind of too short for this, but it was I don't know if it's a nightmare or not. It might be a good dream that I have recurring, but we have this I'm really manic right now. We have this whiskey bottle that is shaped like a Republican elephant, like in boxing shorts and boxing gloves that we got at an antique store that was from the 1968 Republican convention as a souvenir. We have one, but I have this dream where I'm in a crowd and I throw it at Donald Trump's head and it hits him in the head and there's viscera in his skull and shit flying everywhere and he drops dead and I get arrested by the Secret Service and I'm in jail and the guards keep coming over and showing me their phones and showing me how cool everybody thinks I am on Twitter. And I'm just this is massively embarrassing. That, I'm killing Donald Trump for clout.
Listen, you don't need a good reason to kill Donald Trump.
Parody.
You would
get say is listening.
You would get a
Jared.
lot of clout.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was just on.
Did I just skate up to sedition and
I
then?
think so. No, we're okay because we're in America.
Right.
I was just a guest on a British podcast, and they had to delete a lot of things that I said. I wish I was joking.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah.
they don't let you talk about them royals.
It wasn't even that. It was talking about Israel.
No.
Sticky wicket.
Right.
I don't know. They don't have free speech there.
You don't wait. You don't get some kind of free Jewish pass on that.
I don't apparently talk to Israel about that.
Let's get him on the phone right now.
Israel.
Right. Over there somewhere.
Always slightly to the left.
Right. Man, that's such a cool dream, though. I would like to have
cool.
that dream.
And I had it recurring for a while, which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came very close to buying, and I really wish I had thought to put this in the slideshow, a flag of, this is on GOPshop.com, and it's a flag.
That's their website. That's where I buy my sex eggs.
Right. It's all just flags and sex eggs. But it's a big mural flag, and Donald Trump is riding a train. He is on top of the train, which is plowing through a field somehow and knocking fences out of the way because apparently the Trump train doesn't need tracks. He's on top of it, giving what looks very much like a Hitler salute. He is wearing. Have you seen this? He's wearing a bandolier and a championship belt, and he's surrounded by things there's tanks and planes. There is an eagle, an eagle carrying a bomb, and also a UFO.
Yeah.
So
I drew that.
It's your best work.
It's my best work.
Yeah.
I've seen that, and it's really disturbing. I've been seeing it around a lot.
Yeah.
I also grew up in Connecticut, and I was visiting my parents in 2016 in the summer, and we were at a diner in it's not even the suburbs, it's the country,
right?
But it's not a conservative place by any stretch. But there was just a guy sitting at breakfast wearing that,
right?
And I was you paid money to put the. I think it's a tank, or is it a train?
It's a train. I'm sure there are many iterations
but
of
it's
this.
a very famous drawing. I've seen this.
Right. What I don't understand is are you being sort of very subtly and beautifully trolled by some hyper realistic artist, or is this really what you want to see in the world?
I think most people that. This is not, if you draw hyper-realistically and you're a painter or whatever, this is not about you, but there are a lot of people that still work in that sort of very classical style. Most of them are weird old fascists.
Right.
So I think it's like sort of like, I don't know if they're being trolled. If they're being trolled, it's like masterful.
That is a broad brush you are allowed to paint with. We can make fun of hyper realistic painters on this show. Yeah.
I don't know how to draw a chair. That's your problem.
I can draw the feeling of a chair.
Yeah. It's like, I know what a chair is like.
Right.
It's where the ass goes.
Ask the egg, man. I don't know.
We don't let the powerful lobby of hyper realistic artists scare us at this show.
Right. We are very brave.
No,
Very brave.
We'll fight them off. They will draw a very unflattering but yet realistic picture of us after the show.
Yeah.
I will never draw a train. You cannot make
No. Listen, I don't even like to draw cars, and a train is just like, many cars in a string.
I have a long running joke on myself that I plan on playing one day. Is why I make a comic called the Mr. Photorealistic Horse rides his bicycle to buy a new car. Where it's like a long, like a 30-page comic of just like a very realistic-looking horse riding a bicycle to go to a used car lot, and it'd just be like, this would take me 100 years to draw.
But so worth it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You've given me something to live for. Thank you.
No problem.
What kind of used car does the horse buy? I'm already so invested.
The horse is really into Saabs, which are not made anymore. So it's like really sort of like a connoisseur.
Goddamn hipster horse.
Yeah, it wants like a 9.3 convertible. It's the last car model I remember.
That's the best, most specific answer you could have possibly given, Matt. That's beautiful.
I actually did not know they weren't making Saabs anymore.
Yeah, they went into business a while ago.
Well, there's that dream dead. I'll have to make do with my Honda Fit. It's very sporty.
I believe you.
Yeah, do you? You don't believe me.
I believe you that you have a very sporty car.
Yeah, well, it's filthy. I have a filthy Honda Fit, but it has all four wheels.
Congratulations.
So yeah, thank you. I mean, I hate to brag on this show, but I do it all the time.
I'm feeling very superior because I paid someone to vacuum out my car the other day. So I'm like, ooh, I'm classy compared to Emily right now. That's not
Both
true.
have cars?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was on the show with Nelson
I know,
Rockefeller
of
and
assholes
Ford
with
Frick
cars.
over here
Hey,
with their cars.
at the end of this show, I will drive my ass back to Connecticut. So we got a real trio going on up here. Whereas you guys will remain in the city and remain cool. I will turn fully into a pumpkin and get my ass back to the suburbs.
I would just want on the record for recording, I formally denounce Connecticut.
Oh, yeah. No,
same.
Okay.
I'll give you a high
to
five for that, man. Like, that's...
I was drinking my wine, sorry.
Fine, yeah.
No, I actually was friends with one of Emily's friends from high school when I was in Chicago. I'd never been to Connecticut, and I mocked Connecticut so constantly for the entire time we went to college together that then I was essentially assigned by life to live in Connecticut to make up for all of the shit I had put my roommate through. So that's where I am
everybody
now.
who lives in Connecticut.
Right, yeah, it's like some sort of purgatory for
the first settlers, the first white settlers that came to Connecticut. They were making fun of Connecticut in England,
right?
And then they had to go live there.
Everyone who lives there is being punished for something. It's the absolute truth.
All like East Coast, and no matter where you are, you end up living in these tiny towns, or you go to a tiny town where it's clear that they developed all of the roads back in the horse and buggy times. And Connecticut is filthy with that shit, where you're just like, this doesn't make sense for cars. And it's like, oh, right, because a horse fit through here fine when they built this shit. So yeah, that's what we're headed
getting
back
a
to.
horse.
I'm trying to find a horse by going to some used car lots, and spotting the Saabs.
Right now, that was we can all go home now.
Yeah.
You won nightmares.
Full circle.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about your dream. Let's talk about your nightmare.
Okay. So I was telling Emily before that I haven't had a lot of dreams lately for some reason. Can't put my finger on it. I don't know. And I'm also like Emily invented lucid dreaming as a child. So I don't know. I'll see you in court. But I had this very insane dream. I was like racking my brain. I had to send you a dream on Monday. I was going to blow a deadline, which I would never do, much like you. And I on Friday or Saturday, I had the weirdest dream I've had in years. It was like, thank you for generating this, brain. But it's very long and weird. But the general gist of it was me and my partner Jaya. We were going to visit L.A. just to go to L.A. because,
already a nightmare.
Take that, Los Angeles. We're just going to visit L.A. to see some friends, which we do maybe once or twice a year, generally. And we go there, and I see, like, on social media, because I love to dream about posting, that a comedian friend of mine, who in real life, posted a photo of the same building that we were about to go into, stay in, and he apparently lives in LA now, which we're like, oh, that's strange. I'll just kind of go with it. And then we decided to go find his apartment, and we go knocking on doors, and the first door we open is his, thank God. And instead of being married to his wife in real life, who I am also friends with, he is married to my college crush, which normal, it's fine. I haven't thought about her in maybe 10 years. And also in the apartment is a bunch of like comedians that I've heard of in the dream, but are not real people. And I'm like totally starstruck, and I'm like, oh, I get to hang out with all these funny people that I've heard of. And we're hanging out for a while, and then after a bit, they're like, oh, we're all going to go to, oh, God, I can't remember the word that I sent to you.
Catharsis.
Like, it's time to go to catharsis. And they all walk out the door. And I'm like, okay. And we turn back to our friend, our stand-up comedian friend, who is nude. And he's like, I'm getting into bed. And we're like, oh. And he's like, actually, you know what? You should probably see catharsis. It's like a real cool LA thing. I'm like, oh, I like a cool LA thing. So we go downstairs. And we basically walk into like LA Midsummer, where it's just like lots of people doing like weird rituals and stuff. And there's like downstairs outside there's like a park, and every house is on fire, and every house has people in the window, and they're all like staring at me, and they're all on fire. Nobody's dying, and they're all like ashy and weird looking, and it looks like hell. It looks like a Hieronymus Bosch painting. And then some old ladies and some a biker gang get in a physical confrontation, and they call the police, and then we go have a picnic. Just normal stuff.
So far, you haven't described anything that doesn't sound like it happens every Tuesday on LA.
Yeah. And then one of our friends runs into one of the burning buildings to go rescue the people, and we say, don't do that, and she disappears for a while. We're like, oh, I guess she's dead. And then my partner says, like, I'm going to go in the building, too, to rescue Tanya, who is, I guess, her name. Everyone's calling her Tanya Harding, which is very strange to me. But I don't, whatever. And then Jai goes into the building, and she's gone for a while. And then I'm at the doorway, and I'm just like standing there for a long time, like, I should go in there and rescue my spouse, but I'm not going to because I'm terrified, and I know that if I open the door, I will die. So then I pick up my phone, and I'm like, I'm going to call my spouse, and if somebody who is not her picks up, I know that I am in a dream, and then I will wake up, is my thought. So I dial Jai's number on my phone, I pick it up, and the person on the other line just goes, hello! And I'm like, that's not my wife. And I woke up.
Man, well done.
Yeah. It's a wild fucking dream.
That is a wild...
I don't know where it came from, what it meant. Nothing.
There's a lot of elements happening there. I like the fact that like you found the phone out, because apparently that's a thing with lucid dreaming. This is something people who are able to do this have told me, is that you find a phone or you find an electrical outlet, and these are supposed to be like tells of the dream,
like
you're
the Matrix.
dreaming in it,
like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Was that movie a metaphor?
Right. Couldn't have
been. Holy shit.
Embarrassing disclosure here. I've never seen The Matrix.
You should. No,
it
is pretty
leave right now. I'll do the last bit of the show. You go see The Matrix.
It has the finest woe in Keanu Reeves' filmography.
That's a high bar,
right?
That's
that is a high.
Woes.
He has many high quality woes. I think he even says "whoa" in that one Shakespeare movie he's in, Much Ado About Nothing. Whoa, dude!
Right.
Forsooth, man.
I'm gonna need you to go home and watch every Wachowski movie in order, and I'm not speaking to you before then.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's a long assignment though. That's like some Lord of the Rings shit.
Yeah,
you just like go watch 12 hours of people being pretty cool in leather chaps.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and I'm into it.
Sold.
Yeah. Larry Fishburne to begin with, like I'm in, you know, where like it was not a hard sell to get me to watch The Matrix.
Look, I just enjoy missing out on cultural things.
I was once trapped in an airport terminal for like 7 hours with Larry Fishburne. It was very small. We were coming back from TCAF. It was like a convention, and the very small airport we're in got like shut down. And we were all sitting there, and it was like 100 cartoonists and Lawrence Fishburne.
What a wonderful sitcom premise!
Oh my god!
It's the worst episode of Wings imaginable.
Oh my god, that's amazing! Like I would just be spending the entire time white knuckling it, trying not to humiliate myself in front of Lawrence Fishburne. Like I would just be like, "Hey, you know, can we just like do a quick film a movie on my phone together.
We were literally trapped in an airport due to fog condition. He was wearing sunglasses the whole time.
Amazing.
Which I respect.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
You got it. In fact, I think he's legally required to wear those because the rest of us will be burnt by the coolness of Larry Fishburne's gaze.
He's doing it for us.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah.
really
Thanks,
appreciate
Larry.
Man, yeah, that is, and the fact that like catharsis is such now that when you say it that way, it sounds like a sex dungeon club.
it. It is the hottest club in New
Right.
York City. Catharsis.
Catharsis.
They have all the sex eggs.
There's a bucket of sex eggs at the door.
It's okay to cry.
Free sex egg with purchase. Our special drink is also called the sex egg, but be real specific.
It's all
A lot
egg
of
whites
people
because
get
you had
upset.
for some reason.
We have a lot of egg whites. Somebody was promising to make meringue cookies and fell through.
But it made you a sex egg flip.
Oh,
yeah.
I love also that your subconscious gave it away at the end with the hello, like just the Mrs. Doubtfire with the cake on the face. Hello.
It was really close to that. Like I woke up and I was like, "Is that Mrs. Doubtfire?" I really did think that.
Jaya, do you ever just lean over and whisper in Matt's ears as he's there asleep, like, "Hello"? 'Cause
Right. Now,
that.
when you call your wife, it is her when it says hello.
I think you should bring this into your relationship as soon as possible.
Sure thing.
Yeah, sometimes we are.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's happening.
We're also a marriage counseling service.
Oh, that's
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, I'd like to point out that you're the last people alive to willingly make phone calls. Everybody else is texting it.
Yeah.
Apparently, we don't know. We no longer want to hear other human voices.
I have actually gotten really weird. Sorry to sidebar again, but I've gotten really weird about talking on the phone.
No, same.
Yeah. I can talk to my sister, and that's about it. Everything else is just massive phone
Anytime I'm
anxiety.
talking on a cell phone lately, I feel like there's this like disconnect that I can physically feel. Like there's this echo. It's like I'm talking across a
Yeah,
dimension.
well, they're not there.
Yeah, no. I mean, I get that it's at a
Wait!
more like, you know, when you used to
Yeah,
talk
I
on
know.
a landline
I
and they used to
know.
have those commercials where they like drop a pin and you could hear it. You notice they don't have those fucking commercials anymore because
Yeah.
you can definitely not hear a pin and maybe not hear the person you're talking to.
Right.
It's like your phone now used to cost $20 in the 70s. Now it costs $1,000 and it's still like, you can kind of hear a person.
Right.
It's like real tin canny. It's like, yeah, but you can look up a lot of porn. We're like, $1,000, please.
And what's the deal with driving a car in traffic? It's like, come on, people. I'm trying to go to work.
I feel like this might not be the first time I've
Sorry.
said this on this stage, but we used to rent our phones when I was you went to the phone company and you rented a phone.
Oh yeah, that is some old
and
shit.
now I feel like we sort of rent them again.
My mom's parents, who lived in the same apartment in Pelham Parkway, basically from when my mom was born until basically right before they died. They were like they were there for something like 60 years in the same apartment in Pelham Parkway. And when they died, or when they moved out to go to a nursing home very briefly before they died, my mom was like settling up all their affairs, and they were still renting their phone.
Amazing.
In like 2010, and they were getting charged like a crazy amount of money per month because it was, I guess, the last phone.
They're like,
that you
they
could
still
rent.
pay for long distance. Like,
And my mom was like, "What's this like $300 a year charge or whatever?" And it was like a landline that you're rent. It's like we did the math. I think they could have bought several thousand phones. with the money
yeah,
they spent.
you know, you can get those for literally a nickel at
Yeah.
almost any thrift store.
Yeah, I was gonna go to the Goodwill. Yeah.
Wow, that's,
that is the phone company fucking fleecing old people too. That is
right.
bullshit.
1,000%.
There's
Bernie's
so-
gonna fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, any minute
Yeah.
now. Come on, buddy.
I know. I
Any
think,
of you buddies, and honestly, I was like a Warren girl. I don't care, like Bernie, give me anybody, but Biden, really, like
this-
you
Yeah.
fucking, I'd like good, like you're real cute, Grandpa. If it was 1989, I'd be all about it. But I am not here for the guy who drafted off of Obama's coattails.
Yeah. What if we got a person that was just the bad parts of Hillary Clinton, and also his brain was falling out of his ears? Like, what if we got? That'd be great.
But
People would love that.
having said that, still a massive improvement over our
sure.
current sitch. So yeah, if you're not letting like a vampiric Stephen Miller run the country under your like weird KFC filled coattails, yeah, you're an improvement. But it's gonna be a rough season for all of us. Yeah, I'm not thrilled. I will. Yeah, I'm definitely clinging to that little kernel of, well, at least it's not Bloomberg.
I'm about to pick up the phone and call hello in reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously, any minute now.
I keep trying to get God's number, but he kept giving me a fake one.
Right. This only has 6 numbers.
Right. These are the wrong digits.
If you want to talk later, me and the big guy, as a Jew, we signed a contract.
You got a thing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You have his original phone
He has
number.
to answer you guys' calls. It's the
he's
promised
got
land thing.
and
yeah.
I'm allowed to yell at him.
Right.
It's the main relationship.
Oh, it's one of Moses' buddies again.
Yeah.
I gotta fucking answer this.
Straight to voicemail. You want to see your drawing?
I cannot wait.
All right, let's do this.
Best part.
So hype.
Okay. So this is you in my favorite jumpsuit of yours.
That is canonically pretty accurate to a jumpsuit that I almost wore tonight.
We're gesturing to the things in the background. The caption here is "Leave it to LA to needlessly complicate a good cry." I am sorry that I could not resist using your dream to make a sick burn on the city of Los Angeles.
This is incredible. Take that, LA.
Yeah.
Enjoy being happy or whatever.
Choke on it, Sunshine State.
That's the bitterness of Connecticut you hear.
That's my campaign slogan. Matt, thank you so much. Thank you for doing the show. Here is your art. Excellent. Yay. All right.
He's definitely not yelling at you.
All right, you guys.
Matt, that was
we're getting there. We're getting there. We have one more guest. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the best. Like just one clap.
Sorry.
Our next guest is a musician. He's an animator. He's a producer. He is the owner of the cutest cat in the world, and I say that as a person who has a stunning cat. Please welcome to the stage, Quelle Chris.
Woohoo!
Oh, hi.
Howdy.
How's it going?
I'm all right. I'm going to sit this in a very precarious place.
Please do.
How's y'all's doing?
Oh, man. I feel like we have established that nobody's doing well at all.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I see. And I don't even mean to sound cliche, but I'm like, really, like, technically, Trump is like the same president we've been dealing with the entire time.
Yeah,
so
yes.
it's not that
Yes.
much different.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, he's a little ugly or a little more charismatic. I don't know, but it's the same motherfucker.
It's true. Yeah.
But I was a Warren guy too. You know what I mean? I know you were a Warren guy as well.
Yeah, I'm a Warren guy.
I'm
ready.
Know.
I was promised Lisa Simpson.
Yeah.
By that episode of The Simpsons that called the Trump presidency. I was like, great, but we get to follow up Lisa, right?
Yo.
And I saw Warren, and I'm like, bingo.
Yo.
Yeah.
That motherfucker toe to toe. She would have been sweep kicking that bitch all over the stage. But you
I
know
would have
what?
loved to see his series of excuses for not debating her.
Yo,
Like,
he couldn't. He
I
he
can't show
would
up today. I
not
got
show
coronavirus.
up. Yo,
Sorry.
Trump would not show
No,
up.
he would never
would send
show
his
up.
older brother or older sister or some shit. That motherfucker would not show up.
Ew, what if he sent his kids?
Yo, he would. He would, one of them old.
No, or he'd show up and like the TV station would mysteriously go down. You know what I mean? Like it would be one of those old schools where like just technical difficulties, and then like 4 people would be missing.
Look,
Look,
Kat, I want to say, you're adorable. Far more adorable than that Jay thing.
Poor Jason. He helps co-host the beginning of the show when I'm late, and now we're just trashing him since he left.
And I know this could sound like a shitty thing to say, but don't Trump got some ugly ass?
Yeah,
like just
he
ugly.
really does.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Just
you
like
can buy a supermodel,
something
but you can't
eerie.
undo your face out of the kid. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's just something cryptic, and it's not because of association. I just feel like if one of them were to walk in the room right now, I'm like, man, did y'all feel that? Like, I don't know if I like this person that's in here. I would citizen arrest them upon assumption.
Just to upset myself, I imagine the entire Trump family eating peaches.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is a record-breaking amount of gum. I'm seeing a lot of gum.
It's such
you know
a
what I mean?
viscerally unpleasant experience.
No.
And I feel like they'd be smiling the whole time.
Oh.
Who put Eric Trump in a microwave?
I don't know. I don't
Probably
get it.
Donald
at
some point.
At some point. Yeah.
He was born in a microwave.
He was,
He is actually a hot pocket.
It turns out Ivanka is actually, or Ivana was actually a microwave. She's a Russian model. I don't. Those kids are the kind where you see them and you just know that they're rich boys.
Yeah.
Who missed their daddy's actual human love.
They look like they majored in date rape.
Yeah,
There's
that's
something-
unfortunate.
Yeah,
But
it's
true.
just something not cool.
No.
It's just something not cool.
You know what? Once I see a picture of you happily holding up like dead animals on safari that you think you killed because somebody led you with that, like, to go get them, I'm just
Right.
done. Like, I'm just done.
Yo, look,
Like, go to the zoo, motherfucker. Go look at an elephant. You're fine. What the fuck are you doing? Killing stuff. Holding up just the tail? You dick. I want to personally pull out that guy's uvula and show it to him. That's the dangly
Ooh, that was
thing.
also a very visceral
Yeah.
feeling.
Wouldn't that be a great one, though? Just reach into that huge gummy maw, snatch that uvula out of
Get
there, and be
past
like,
all the
go,
peach juice.
go buy another one of those at the Respiration store. Yeah, pass
And then
that's
like
so gross.
then swinging in the air. So remember those things you would get from theme parks? It was-
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the sticky hand. Remember the
Oh,
25
that's
cent
nice,
sticky
like,
hand?
Yeah.
And then your mom would be like, God damn it, because you spent 3 days sticking to stuff around the house, and then you'd be
Yeah.
carrying around some cat fur covered weird sticky
Or you
hand.
just leave it on the window.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Whereas
get in
Eric, we
trouble
could
for
kind
that
of
shit.
turn inside out on himself like one of those wet willies. Like,
Ooh, I
like,
love it.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
it.
man.
And then at some point he would spring a leak, and you'd know it was all over. With I feel like we're making a lot of old references tonight.
Yeah.
Do we all remember Wet Willies?
Timeless
Also,
toys.
kind of a thing you could fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking Wet Willies is the ear thing. You're talking about water weenies.
Water weenies.
Yeah.
No.
A wet willy is when you licked your ear and stuck
Oh,
it
yeah,
into
that is
someone's
what a
ear
wet
and
willy
grossed them
is,
out, because
yeah.
that's what we used to do before cell phones, was wipe bodily
willy,
fluids
yeah.
on each other and laugh. But the water weenie was that weird circular
Right.
water thing that jiggled.
The-
I also thought like, okay,
bolus.
kids in much more recent, sadly, years, I've been like, oh yeah, boys must have figured out and like fucked that, right? But I was assured by several dudes the instant I brought this up, oh no, it's impossible. Like they all tried.
Oh, wow.
They all were like, great idea,
Yeah.
I'ma try it. And then they're like, the pressure is too much in the middle, you're gonna squash your little wiener. So it didn't like it appeared to be that temptation, and I'm sure frustrated many a
Yeah, a lot
child.
of
Man,
disappointed.
this
Yeah,
is
right.
the second thing this week I realized I have been wrong about my whole life.
Wet willies?
That they're not called Wet Willies. Also, they're Matt, are you familiar with the dome of the Colt Factory in Hartford? It's a beautiful blue dome. Okay. Okay, so this is just for me then. There is this beautiful, like, old blue dome. It's got stars all over it. It sits atop what was once the Colt arms manufacturing facility. I, until this week, thought that dome was made of lapis lazuli. It just occurred to me a few days ago. I'm like, that can't be right.
That
You
would
don't
be
make
real
a
pricey.
whole dome out of a semi-precious stone. So I Googled. Of course it's not made of lapis lazuli, but I have told people that it was.
If anyone could afford that, though, it would be like an arms manufacturer.
Absolutely.
So if somebody could have swung it, would have been Colt 45, could show up and be like, I guess we're taking your lapis lazuli.
Right.
And they don't even have to pay for it. They're
Yeah.
good. They got the Colt. But,
So,
A homie
yeah.
was telling me that coming up, I guess they all thought forever that the numbers, the time, down in Manhattan. I dig you. I'm not a New York person, but the little time that's always running, they always thought it was the death toll. And they said, it was like common knowledge. But then we got off into a conversation, and I do have a lot of stubborn regrets that I don't think I'll ever confess to. Just so many things, because I have a younger brother. So many things that I just confidently told him were true. Just so a never-ending list of shit that I was just so fucking wrong about.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
He's
what
your
do you-
little
what can you
brother,
do?
so you have to be right forever.
You have to be right.
Well,
forever.
and
you
wh-
can't give him that score.
when we were kids, there wasn't like Wikipedia and shit that you could go to. You just had to trust each other about shit.
Yo, dig, it's still the same way. Like, and I'll be talking to Jean, my wife, and I'll be like, I'll ask her. There'll be like something, cause I know Google exists, right? And I'll be the first to tell the motherfucker like, "Yo, like just fucking Google it. Why the fuck are you asking me?" but it's weird because, like, I will literally like something will come to mind, and I'll be like, "Hey, Jean, like, do you know how something does the something?" And she'll be like, "I don't know." And my brain is so old wired that I'll be like, well, I guess I'll never know.
Right.
You know, that's it. That's it. There's nothing else to find out about this.
You just wander around for like 3 years and stumble upon the answer to a question. Remember back at how satisfying it was when you'd be like, oh, finally! I know how they make, I don't know, peanut butter, whatever the fuck your question was.
Your best friend because they held the key.
Right. Yeah. No, you would seem, and you would, when you were right, you would seem like a fucking wizard to people. Oh, yeah. And that's also why back in the day you had to be so careful about learning about sex on the playground. There's always some uninformed motherfucker.
It's why I have so many idols, because like everyone just seems so knowledgeable, and now like I'm sure like, you know, to children everyone just has to seem so dumb.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you not know this, you idiots? You know what I mean?
I'm already getting that from my kid. She's 3.5.
Exactly.
She's like, dude, whatever, mama.
Right.
But I feel like there was something like
false.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we're the last like generation to be somewhat comfortable with being steeped in ignorance, you know, and I mean, maybe that, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, I feel like modern kids are still steeped in ignorance, but they're knowledgeable about the fact that they're like, nothing's real.
Right.
You know? Like, they're real dark about it.
Well, see, the thing is, like, I wear my idiocy like a comfort blanket, and I feel like now idiocy is worn like a crown, or like you're adorned in idiocy.
Right.
And me, I'm like, no, like, just let me be dumb.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was more cocoon-like, and now there's like a performative idiocy happening.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I'm just sad that my child will never know how good encyclopedias smell.
They smell pretty great.
They smell really good. Yeah.
We should buy. You got to package that.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my.
Call the Britannica people. They're definitely looking for new ideas.
Library?
Oh man, the library near our house was like they're remodeling it and it's closed, but they put out all these boxes of encyclopedias, and I was gonna grab one for the smell, but it had been rained on, and
that's a whole different
wet
smell.
encyclopedia is a totally different thing.
No, not hot.
No,
not hot this season.
No, mold,
not the
thing.
Yeah, I was thinking to get on to talk about this dream stuff.
Yes.
And last time I was here, someone had brought up animals, and then it was brought up again, and it reminded me that one, I hardly ever have animals in my dream unless they're like so not important, or like that I don't remember them. Like, I have no memorable animals unless they're like werewolves or like Muppets or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then another thing, I realized, like, because you guys were talking about, and I might be debunking this, because I always did think like you always wake up before you die, but I have like totally been stabbed to death in my dreams, like just like sat and just took it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've died and woke up again in dreams a bunch of times, like in a row.
Oh, you like respawn like a cartoon?
Yeah, like, so like Emily was saying, like, and what Jacob, whatever his name was like,
Jacob,
you know, he was like, but he was like, you know, like, it's crazy, like, that you, like, at 7, and I'm with you, like, I was like, oh, I got to figure this shit out now.
Right.
So, like, so I did, like, off of, like, some, like, crack shoot, like, I accidentally saw, like, Chucky on the other screen, because I hated horror movies up until I was, like, 21 or some shit like that. But, like, I accidentally saw Chucky on the other screen at, like, a drive-thru because, like, you know, it's the 80s and they just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just no, like, just deal with it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we were there to see something else, but I was focused on Chucky, and I hated the motherfucker for a long time. And around, like, 7 or 8, I got tired of the shit.
Yeah.
And I took care of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I have died in dreams, too. So, like, I don't know. I don't know if there is any rules.
It's
really.
almost like my favorite movie, Dreamscape, is a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh,
it is. But so the thing is, like, when it happened to me, I just became obsessed. So I've been, like, technically like a dream warrior since then. Obsessed at points, but now I've taken a year off.
Right.
As I told you.
Well, that seems like awesome, but also sort of exhausting.
It is.
Right.
It's dumb exhausting.
Yeah.
It is. So I became obsessed and now I'm here, still alive. But I was gonna say within that obsession, I do think that if I do follow my goal all the way through and alas catch my white whale, that it will end with death. So it's a decision.
Who's your white whale in your dream? Or are we skipping ahead to your nightmare?
No, it's non-related. It's not. I mean, it is related clearly, but it's not directly related. No, I think the white whale is complete existence between both, because I have gotten close to or better at talking outside of the dream while still being in the dream, which is really. It's baby steps.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do know ultimately one of the really important things that I need to do, and I've been getting a lot closer, is a lot of times people have sleep paralysis. Usually in sleep paralysis, there's usually some tangible conduit thing like this. For some people it's a figure, for some people it's something, but there's something between the two. It's there. Generally, the general out is wake me up or I'm gonna wake up somehow. You're stuck in that little interim. My thing is I just want to get up and just go talk to him. You know what I mean? So I've been getting closer, but that's in short. Right. So that's it.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk to him, and then after that we'll figure out where we go from there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Talk is the earthly word, but I want to get over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I agree that I think a lot of people probably got to this point when they were about that age where you're just like, I can't deal with this shit that I'm dealing with in these dreams. We got to figure out how to work it.
Yeah.
And I used to have to fight Skeletor pretty pretty often. I was really into He-Man, and so Skeletor and the lizard people from V. Would join together. And
what did people have nightmares about before there was pop culture?
Right? I definitely just Mozart.
Mozart
was coming for you. The Black Plague. Reasonable shit. Me, it's Skeletor.
Starvation.
Yeah, but so I used to
real things that kill you all the time
for real. But in mine, it was a guy with a sword and a face like a skull. And some lizard folks, which are now running the country, so it's a different kind of nightmare. But yeah, we used to. I used to call in the Care Bears.
Whoa!
As an alternate force to fight on my behalf.
And you and Emily Gould need to talk about.
And then we used to peace out and go hang out in Care Bear land, and I would chill with Grandma Bear and not physically move much, which is kind of my jam.
Yeah.
And it was good. Yeah, it was good times.
But that's another reboot I don't like. Is the new Care Bears? They suck.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
God.
There's too much singing and they're 3D. Ugh.
It's 3D, yeah. That's really what takes me out of it.
I don't like the uncanny valley.
Yeah,
of
if I
the
want
Care
3
Bears.
dimensions, there's real life. I'm good.
Exactly.
I'm fine.
I feel like every reiteration of Looney Tunes has been complete shit.
Agreed.
Just syndicated forever. Stop. Just stop trying to reintroduce it. It's good enough.
Listen, I will never get tired of watching Kill the Rabbit.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
No, that's always going to be good.
Yeah.
But I will say Space Jam just came back onto Netflix, so FYI.
Right.
Okay. Oh, you know what? That isn't acceptable. There are exceptions to everything.
It is worse than I remembered, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a terrible movie.
You know, the website's still up.
I do
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Well, let's talk about your dream.
Let's talk about it.
Going to text my babysitter. Continue.
Mighty important.
Oh yeah, are we running up on Absinthe O'Clock?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Okay. All right.
We're
cool.
good. We got
We're
time.
good. We got plenty of time. Also, Absinthe is happening after. We have. Okay. All right.
We have hours.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, the dream. So I'm gonna try to. It's kind of it's a 3-part saga. It is, and it's somewhat going back to Freddy and them. It's kind of like the end of the first Freddy, where Freddy is in reality pulls up in the whip or something. Is that the first one or the second? He pulls up in the whip and he's like, I'm out of the dream. But my thing is kind of like ends with Freddie getting out of the dream and then us figuring things out along the way. So when I was young, we lived in upstate New York. Very poppin' place. Very poppin'. It's really happening now because of like Griselda and certain MCs that are out right now. But at the time, clearly probably not poppin'. And somewhere around like 5, 6, I started having this reoccurring dream where I was in a bar. And it was a very amber bar, kind of like this one. Not as much brass because brass wasn't as poppin', I don't think, at the time. But it was a lot of amber glass stained stuff and a lot of extremely disfigured people. And for someone that didn't like disgusting things at the time, that alone was enough. But there was this bartender always there, very tall, slender, lurch, kind of tall. You know what I mean? Like, but like cartoonishly, like shaped like just like a tree. You know what I mean?
The kind of person you gotta like lean back when you're talking to him.
Yeah. And he had this very recognizable kind of thing, and eyes were always kind of up and a little off kilter. Everything was a little, and I was telling Emily his face was kind of the texture of like stovetop stuffing. You know what I mean? But like and I don't remember him ever necessarily being intentionally frightful to me. But I mean, it's like I'm kid size, so he's like 30 feet tall, and he's just it's like, and he's welcomed me into a bar, and also why the hell was I in the bar, which comes up later. So. Fast forward to around the time that I defeated Chucky, my personal Skeletor, right? And we womped up on him, which is very important. Strawberry shortcaked them.
Right.
And so around that time, once I kind of found that out, of course the dreams intensified because, again, I kind of got more into the idea of being in them. But of course, like the nightmares just got worse because I was like too aware of them. You know what I mean? But the bar dream disappeared. You know what I mean? And I feel like I would have this dream like every night. And the bar dream disappeared though. And around that time, we moved to Taylor, Michigan, which is, I don't know, Taylor, Michigan, right? You know what I mean? Think about it. What do you know about it?
You have painted a picture.
Exactly, right? So much said with so little. And but we moved to Taylor, and this is where my father got this mask. And he was always really into Halloween. He was like the type of dude that would play the Halloween sounds on Halloween, and all that stuff. And he got this mask, and I remember him doing this a lot, primarily because this mask looked just like the bartender from my dream as a child. And no big surprise here, but alcoholism is like a rush, and on at least definitely on my father's side of the family, but just in the family. And around this time, in hindsight, I learned that he was really getting off in the drinking because he was doing a lot of traveling and things like that, doing a lot of work in China, which is really popular right now for some reason. And they're really big on toasting and drinking along with their business. So he really got off in the drinking. But around the time he got this mask that looked just like the reoccurring dream that I just had figured out how to get out of my head, and he would jump out all the time and scare me with this mask. Now I found out from my mother he would just do it all the fucking time. But the first thing I remember thinking is like, this looks just like the dude. Now, of course, I hadn't drawn the correlations between alcoholism yet, but I continue my dream journey. We move, et cetera, et cetera. I let the mask go, but I always remember this mask because I always remember this dream, which was kind of my first reoccurring dream. And then for my pops to be enough of an asshole to come back and, you know what I mean, be like, you remember me? Like, just not even around October, just randomly, you know what I mean? It just never really left. But, life goes on, whatever, 20-something years later, 30-something. And then not too long ago, and I don't say this for cheers and accolades, but I've recently gone sober. Woo! I mean, it's really, you know, it's for the safety of everyone else. And so it's been about 8 months, but about 5 months ago, you know, the turbulence of coming out of that, you know, kind of like 15-year, like just nonstop bender, you know, there's a lot of cleanup.
Right.
And one day, kind of going into this process, and kind of just around the time when I realized, like I went out and I walked past the liquor store and I like didn't eat the entire liquor store, and I was actually like, you know what, I don't even fucking care. I was like, whoa, that's a feeling. But somewhere within this week or 2 weeks, I was looking in the mirror, and I was like, shit, you know, I was just coming out of this, and, you know, I looked as if I just came out of like a 15-year bender. And my eyes were a little off, and my skin was super bumpy. My hair was, I forgot to mention, his brother's hair, and the mask was just very, like, scattered, patchy. I had just come off of just doing some sort of tour or something, a Europe tour, not to brag, shut it down. And like, so my voice was like this, it's very gone. And I look in the mirror and I'm feeling like shit, and I realize that like I had just met, lived with, and like killed the dude I had met in my dreams, and I was the dude. So like I see him for one last time, and my eyes are swollen because I got this beautiful cat. And but he sheds like a motherfucker. Yeah. But like it's weird because in that like what like was felt like a minute or two, because I was like just getting done like brushing my teeth, started to see my eyes like kind of like come back to place, and I started to see like the face that I initially saw, which was that face, like start to fade, as if to kind of be like, all right, you figured it out, but like just reminding you that I'm still here. I hadn't seen that face yet. I actually, it wasn't until the last show that I was here, I was walking home, and after hearing everyone talk about their dreams, that I put it together, because there was so much extra shit going on that I never took the time to like realize that I just had a dream epiphany. Like I just won a dream level, but I was like, you know, I got the notification, was like, I'm too busy. Right. But then leaving here, I was walking around and I started tearing up because I started piecing together. I was like, oh shit, that shit happened. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's how I beat, I guess, one of my early dream demons, I guess. And now there's like 30 more to go. Yeah.
Woo!
Hell yeah.
That's honestly, I think the most triumphant nightmare story
full circle
we've ever had.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
that took a long time to play out too. Your subconscious was
the long game.
It was like, dude, I got nothing but time. You know what I mean?
The longest one of those flowers. You got like the corpse flower. You got to wait like 25 years for it to bloom.
And the annoying bastard like rented an apartment down the street. Like he's still hanging out.
Oh,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Text me every once in a while.
Yeah, just to
you know what I mean? I see him like the ex, you know what I mean? Eating scones and shit. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna
try
look
to pretend
at you.
You don't see him, but you see him.
Right.
Not today.
Maybe you could burn your drawing.
Oh hell no! I'm keeping this bitch. Look, the crazy thing is, because you know,
see it first.
Because you know, I do the arts too,
right?
And I draw like a lot of like my nightmares from a kid. Like those are like my favorite people to draw. Look at him.
So I gotta say, because just for the podcast, this is a little Quelle at the bar, and drawing that, I got so sad and just wanted to go like take you home out of the bar. The caption here is, the problem with kids is they don't appreciate a good martini.
It's true.
So yeah, that was I don't know. Now I'm looking at the little boy and I'm all sad.
I love it though. That's great. That's beautiful. No, that's pretty stunning. That's pretty on point.
It's going to seem really dark when my kid walks in at about 1 minute.
Yeah. Dark or beautiful.
You know what?
Both.
Full circle. That's the show.
Exactly.
Man. Yeah, there you go,
this is beautiful.
Quelle, here is your drawing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing the show. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Yeah. Have a good night. Everybody stay safe. Yeah. Nightmares is held monthly at the Red Room at KGB Bar in New York City. I'm Emily Flake. My co-host tonight was Jason Chatfield. Tonight's co-host was Kat Burdick. Produced and edited by Shannon Manning for Good Orbit.